which means this after this week, we're halfway through this course. It's amazing. It went quickly, didn't it? Yeah. And it's a wonderful opportunity to be able to manifest your dreams and live a life like that. And, why not? We deserve that. And of course, we're manifesting all the times, but we want to manifest more enlightened things or exciting things, as we know. Yes. I was talking earlier about some of the successes people have had. Anyone want to share like a coaching or healing success? Actually, Marcia and Pamela Bonita were sharing all kinds of things they've been doing. In case you'd like to share something, you don't have to compare yourself to anyone else, by the way. All quiet on the Western Front now. Okay. Okay. Well, I know there have been successes coming, and why don't maybe some of the people, just to get it kind of off to a positive start, to someone who wanted to share success. And Bonita just was talking about her cord cutting. Pamela or Marcia, you want to share any of your successes? We were talking earlier before we began here.
I'm reading, well, I've been having, doing the Soul Garden, and especially that we've been doing in class.
Yes.
And it has evolved where I am meeting Mary Magdalene and Jesus in my
Mm-hmm.
Soul Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
recently, I just started reading a book by Andrew Harvey, who is a modern mystic, called Magdalene's Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Just today, and I've been seeing fire, I've got a fountain. Just today, in that book, he gave us a meditation of going within with the golden breath into our soul and meeting Jesus and Mary Magdalene there and having them come into us to marry the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And then having like a chalice of drinking with them, uh, the Eucharist kind of thing. And I just, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I've been doing. There's a chalice
So
and there's fire. And
you were having that experience before you read about it in the book?
yes.
That is
Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah, okay. That's a
Yes.
good one. Thanks for
Yes.
sharing that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting. So today is the we start hypnotherapy hypnosis. Um, and it's something that I think you all have some familiarity with. In fact, how many people are familiar with hypnosis? Just to okay, so some of you are more or less, and I don't know how more or less you are. Where some of this will be a review, of course, because it does also overlap with hypnosis overlaps with visualization, meditation, affirmation, and it really blends well with energy healing too. Hey, hi Maggie. And so tonight we'll get a nice overview of it, and we'll have some experiences as well. So, starting off, just when you hear the word hypnosis, what comes to mind?
Used to me, it was some guy on stage making a woman cluck like a chicken.
Yeah, yeah,
That
this
it was a show.
stage
Yes.
hypnosis, entertainment,
Yeah.
and that is a kind that is actually using hypnosis for entertainment. What else comes to mind?
For me, it comes to mind clinical setting, like in a therapy setting, because
Mhm.
that's my experience with it. I have
Right.
done hypnosis in a clinical setting for myself. So yeah, that's what comes
So
to mind.
there's the hypnosis and then using hypnosis for therapy, hypnotherapy. Ariel?
I was just going to say past life regression.
And we're going to be doing regression and past life regression in a few weeks here. That's coming up in this course as well. Maggie.
this might be cheating. I'm a hypnotherapist, but I always look at hypnosis as a bridge between the subconscious mind to the conscious mind.
Yeah, that's a good description of it. And that's the beauty. And of course, the energy healing and the other things we do is a wonderful bridge too. So there's a overlap there as well. I'm traveling in Napa, California. I'm in a nice place here, but it's very tight. I have to be careful not to knock everything over. I have a little makeshift station here. Now, historically, you can find hypnosis even in ancient Greek temples. The hieroglyphs are people who look like they're being hypnotized or hypnotizing other people. And then fast forwarding to European history in the 1700s, Mesmer was a man who talked about magnetism and mesmerizing people, and he became quite a controversial figure. You may have heard the term being mesmerized from him too. And then by the mid 1900s, there were people who were really great therapists who used hypnosis, like Virginia Satir and Milton Erickson, and they applied hypnosis actually their techniques, as I mentioned, became models for NLP, neuro-linguistic programming we talked about, which is a kind of hypnosis as well. And I think it was 1955, it was recognized by the American Medical Association, especially in helping people remove addictions too. And before there was a lot of anesthesia, they would hypnotize people to put them in a sort of an anesthesia trance. And people, if you've seen hypnotherapists, they can put people in an ice cold bath of water your hand and not notice, how's your hand? It feels normal because you're hypnotized and so forth. You may have seen demonstrations like that. We have a little acronym in your manual. I'll bring it up for you. And
Edgar Casey did this.
Edgar Casey.
Book, right?
Yeah, the sleeping prophet, you would say he went into hypnosis, went into the Akashic records there. And hi, Terry. Oh, I need to, let's see. Okay. Move this out. I'm on my laptop, so I'm a little short on space here. Okay, so for hypnosis, and this is a pretty good description of what it is. Hypnosis helping and healing yourself and others. Why you are in control. And a lot of people think like, the hypnotist is going to take control of me. No, and stage hypnosis is people who are open to being maybe silly or uninhibited. Mind control is when you deprive people of like food and sleep. That would be a different thing. P puts you in touch with the unconscious and superconscious. We'll talk a little more about that in a minute. And not going to sleep, but going into a trance. And the brain waves change. The brain waves slow down. We're normally in beta and sometimes gamma when we're agitated or very clear. And then close your eyes, trance, slow down, slower brain waves, alpha. And then theta is deeper, like in a very, very deep sleep. And delta is when you're sort of in a dreamless sleep, where the brain waves are very slow. And those overlap, all those brain waves. Well, anyways, hypnosis has you relax, which is a part of meditation and visualization too. So there's overlaps, as you can see. O, only as far as you want to go. Again, you are in control. So you'll access where you want to go. And if something isn't right, you'll probably come out of hypnosis. You'll just sort of snap out of it. S, safely allowing you therapeutic insights. When you're in this place, you often get deep awareness of things. I, intensified attention and receptiveness. Also, time changes. You could be in hypnosis for 10 or 15 minutes and you think you were in for 1 minute. The body also changes. The body droops and relaxes. Your breathing becomes slower and deeper, and your heart rate slows down. So you're very aware of everything and every sound. You can hear all the sounds like crystal clear. You know, people think you're not picking up anything. And that's why people, when they're in deep sleep, they might be even anesthetized and hearing what the like doctors who are operating them are saying. I once hypnotized a lady who was telling me what the doctors were saying when she had a surgery. S, staying focused on issues. It really helps you focus on what's going on when you're in that hypnotic state. Let's see. Yeah. And that the brain waves are there, which I just mentioned to you. Okay. Okay. So just before we go a little further into it, any comments or questions thus far?
Just a quick comment on the
Yes.
brainwaves, the gamma. I just watched a video about a guy talking about channeling.
Yes.
And he says the gamma state is that's like they consider it the channeling state. So I just found that interesting. It's kind of in the same realm.
Yeah, the gamma waves, which are very fast and higher, is an extremely, it's like where synchronicities and people who are very deep meditators or long-time meditators have a very active uh, higher gamma waves. Yeah. So it's sort of showing a pattern where you want to have more alpha and delta, but also that will also be on top in the beta. The gamma waves. Normally we're in beta, maybe when we're talking now, we're going in and out of different states. Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Ina. That's good point. Good to know. As Maggie was just mentioning earlier, the conscious and the unconscious mind bridging. For terminology, I'm going to use unconscious and subconscious mind as the same. You could make a distinction between them, but I think that gets us more complicated than we need tonight. So as you know, the conscious mind tends to be more analytical and logical, and the unconscious mind is where we're connected with our intuition, our guidance, and other things in the unconscious mind as your emotions are there, your imagination, you tap in your unconscious, your body's involuntary functions like blood circulating and digestion. That's all going on unconsciously, right? You don't need to know that. And there are many, I forget how many bits of information, millions or billions of bits compared to the conscious mind. So all this is going on right now as we're in this moment. Thousands of things are happening in our bodies. We don't need to know them all. We can't know them all. But at certain times, because of what's been programmed into our unconscious minds in this lifetime and previous lifetimes, we do want to know about that. And that's where the hypnotherapy can come in. Here's another definition of hypnosis by the government. Hypnosis is the bypass of the critical function and establishment of acceptable selective thinking. Interesting. And Milton Erickson defined hypnosis as a state of intensified attention and receptiveness and an increased responsiveness to an idea or to a set of ideas. And there's a term, all these fields have their own terms. Hetero hypnosis is, hetero means with another person, hypnosis with another person. Auto hypnosis, auto-suggestion or auto-suggestion is with yourself. It's also said that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So if I'm helping hypnotize you, you're doing it to yourself. I'm just being there, sort of suggesting, making suggestions, setting the environment up for you. This is a really fascinating I don't know if you want to call it piece of information. Well, about let me I want to just go back a moment, something I did want to bring up before I forget. There's a taboo about hypnosis in religion, fundamental religion. I'm sure you're all aware of that. It's very frowned upon and feared, and that's because it's cited parts of the Bible of casting spells on people. And the idea of casting spells is, I mean, our words are casting spells all the time, and incantations is really what we're doing. But the fear-based thing is that I'm going to deliberately, sort of like a voodoo dial or something, focus some negative energy on you. And that's what they're equating with hypnosis. Now, obviously, hypnotherapy is anything but that. In fact, just the opposite. It's actually empowering people, helping people take charge of their lives. And so it's ironic. And what we're really doing is in hypnotherapy is dehypnotizing the programs, deprogramming ourselves, which I'm about to go into. And this is in your manual too, in section 995, where it's written out. 5 ways to change your mind. How do you change someone's mind? I wish they'd listen to me. I wish they'd know this. I wish they would, know about holistic healing or, whatever, you want to help someone with. So the way it happens is it happens by an authority figure, i.e. your parents, or it could be the government or a teacher or a doctor. Ask your doctor, see if he says yes. If he does, you follow it. You'll follow it, won't you? And especially the first 6 years where the child is very receptive in a theta brain wave, a lot of stuff is being programmed into us from our parents. And the idea is to, and so if you're a super authority figure, maybe you could change someone. If someone is believing you because, the ministers of the church says that, maybe he would change your mind or she would change your mind. But otherwise, no. Another one is identification with a group. This is my group, right? My family, my culture, my religion, my party, my political party, whatever it is. Yeah, my group believes it, so I believe it. I just was reading that most people who grow up in the South, part of being Christian is being Republican. It's like sort of synonymous. Like if you're a Christian, you're Republican. It's like the same thing almost, which is crazy. But that's what you do. Why do you do it? Well, everyone else is doing it. To not do it, you'd be a heretic. You'd be blasphemy. You'd be banned or something, or ostracized. Of course, group teenagers are very conformist to their group, right? Doing what other teenagers do. So that's one way people change their mind or form their opinion. Or if you went from one group to the other group, you could have another set of things in your beliefs in your unconscious mind. The third way of changing a mind is intense emotion. If something bad happened to you, if a dog bit you when you were young, then maybe you're hyper vigilant around dogs, even though it's a completely friendly dog, right? And this could be even projections of people too. This reminds you of something and you had an intense experience with someone and that person reminds you of that, you become very agitated, very aroused perhaps. Or positive things. I mean, we want to have positive, intense emotions too. I just going back to negative ones. I can remember a couple of the car accidents I had. I can remember them very vividly. Maybe you have an experience like that. Or just positive things, going to Hawaii, seeing a sunset, or just seeing a sunset or sunrise generally can be beautiful, very memorable, kind of put you in a timeless place. So I just want to make a moment of pausing for comments and question about the first 3 ways of changing your mind or someone's mind: authority figures, identification with a group, or an intense emotion. Okay, we're going on. The other one, again, you're very familiar with this. The reason why all these are, this next one is very familiar to repetition. Repetition. Ever notice why commercials are so repetitive? Now, a lot of people are not my age, although a couple of you I know are. There used to be cigarettes advertised in television by doctors. I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of crazy things are going on today too. And the jingle for one of the cigarettes, which is Winston cigarette, was Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Now, that commercial I probably saw 50, 60 years ago, and I still remember that. And then there, of course, more recently, just anything. Let's see, McDonald's, what is it? Loving it? What did they say? Have it your way. That's the Burger King one. Have it your way. I'm loving it. Anyone want to just give another example? There's so many of them floating around. They hear them over and over. So you just suddenly they're there, and then you're programmed to buy a product, right? Or if you're not sure and you've heard about this one product in this jingle over and over again, that's the one you might take, especially unconsciously. The more conscious you are, the more selective you are, which is the whole idea of being dehypnotized, deprogrammed. So it just puts us into an automatic state. Authority figure speaks.
I have a question about
Yes.
that, or an observation.
Yes.
I haven't watched TV in well over 25 years, but sometimes if I was somewhere else or staying somewhere and I clicked on, I was shocked
Mhm.
by the inundation of medical
Right. Drugs.
pharmaceuticals.
Right.
And so I kept thinking, as they keep listing, so there's your repetition. And
Right.
I think, oh my God, how many times are they going to keep advertising the same thing? But I think of all the symptoms that they are actually putting out there, and in a way, subliminally, or I wonder how many people go, oh, I have that.
Yeah. Right.
It's
Ask your
shocking.
doctor. They also say ask, and he's the authority figure. So you're hearing it over and over again. And the authority figure, the doctor is going to tell you. So you got a double whammy there. Yep. Right.
And then
Yeah.
they get to go on their trip to Nassau because they've prescribed so much.
Their bonuses. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So that's something to be aware of. And although, there's a certain amount of learning that you need repetition. And that's what I realized teaching classes. It's very good to repeat yourself, not, over and over again, but usually a few times. Important points. Like I'm going to, for example, the first 4 ways to change someone's mind, repeating, authority figures, a group, identification, intense emotion, and repetition. And the 5th way could be hypnosis itself. I think energy therapy and EFT and reframing and anchoring and those things could also come into it. Changing your brainwaves, changing your programming at a very deep level. And that's why the American Medical Association recognizes using hypnosis for stopping smoking and alcohol and cigarettes and things, and weight loss. Because it changes someone at a deep level, because the other things, just talk therapy, just knowing something is not embodying. It's not getting it into the body, into the unconscious mind. And I think you all recognize that. Any comments or questions on those 5 ways to change someone's mind? I think that's very important information to be aware of.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I'm driving, so driving to the shop. Yeah, I think I teach a workshop on understanding your energy, and I always say that one of the things that affects us, that leads us to decisions, are also it includes, well, of course, I'm saying energy, but there are many things that affect our energy,
Mhm.
which and then that affects our physical state, but everything kind of works off each other. So I would say that some things that also lead us to decisions or lead us to, yeah, making decisions is how we feel,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
physically, energetically, and emotionally, right?
Right. Yeah. So if something reminds you of something positive, you have a positive feeling. If it reminds you of something negative, it's negative. So it may not be the situation itself, it's coming from before, and it may cloud your discernment. And that's why we're so big on connecting with your soul's guidance of getting a deeper, more aligned with what you're here to do. Because if you don't do it, you'll get there the hard way, so to speak, by doing these programming. And that's a lot of where karma is, cause and effect, things that you did that keep repeating itself.
Right.
Friction
Even
points.
even like physical health, like if we're lacking sleep or our blood sugar is low or our blood pressure is high or our cortisol level is high, that when we make a decision when we're in that physical state, it would be different from when we are feeling better.
Yeah, self-care, that would be definitely of affecting you. Yeah, affecting your decisions for sure. Can anyone remember a message they received about success? Or achievement from their childhood, like something, yes, Bonita, hands up right away. Go ahead.
Work hard and save your money. I heard that every time I talked to my dad
Mhm.
when would sign off. That was
Mm.
always it.
Yeah. And what does that mean? What does that bring up to you when you hear work hard and save money?
I kind of went the opposite way of, I mean, I did work hard for 40 years, right? I
Uh-huh.
worked in pharmacy. But I am more free with my money and I don't want to work hard. I
Right.
had worked with a coach once who called it plurk, playing as
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Now, the other thing, and that's a very good example, Bonita, there's obviously some wisdom about working hard and saving money. It's certainly not something to say but it's as a go-to all the time, regardless. It can really, you can imagine it could create a lot of anxiety, stress, could break down parts of your body trying to, work through things. And maybe, hey, I can't enjoy myself at all. If you're not having much joy, that doesn't sound very joyful, allowing for much joy. Pamela?
So my mother told me that I'm supposed to get married
Yes.
to, and have children. That was my role, and that was what was I was supposed to do. She had absolutely really no I don't even know how to say it. She did not think I would really amount to anything.
Right.
And she actually said that to me when I graduated from nursing school. I never thought you'd amount to anything. That was her way of saying she was proud of me.
Right. Yeah. So I'm sure she was very proud of
Thank
you.
goodness I
Yeah.
rebelled.
So anyways, I mean, a lot of our successes in life is overriding, transforming these beliefs or letting them go, maybe in some sense completely or partially, using them context dependent. Yeah, you can see how powerful a driver that is because you're looking at your life, you're looking at people, you're looking at, men as, gee, I have to get married and have children. So that's really coloring yourself. Not that that's not a part of life, but you can see how it's very limiting if we're trying to live a more fulfilled, soul aligned life. Anyone else want to share anything on that? Okay. And examples of being in hypnosis, which is very natural, is just driving hypnosis. If you're absorbed maybe in a movie, like I'm entranced by this, or you're daydreaming, that's using the part of your brain that scientists now call the default network. And the idea of hypnosis, when you get in there and you're hypnotized, you're very aware of what you're doing. of every sound, the way you're breathing, all the thoughts coming in your mind, the images floating around. And you enter a trance state when you're in meditation, doing visualizations here. When you're in nature, it can put you in a very beautiful, peaceful state, listening to music, harmonious music, or music uplifting you, prayer, creative work. And that really merges your left and right brain, and you're connecting with your soul. Everything is working together when you're in that kind of place. Before we do an example of going into a trance, I want to mention something of how we get out of the trance. We go into trance. I'm going to end at the end just because I'm going to come back to this repetition. There are 4 words. We call them the 4 R's: return, remove, refresh, and remember. You may have heard me use that before. So often you go to your soul's garden and you come back down, and I like to do it with counting people back up. You could add that to it, but you don't have to. But 1, you will return to where you are now. 2, you will remove anything you don't want. Why would you say that? Well, sometimes you're having a person going into a trance. Maybe they went into a sort of a strange memory popped up that they don't want to really remember or dwell on. You don't even know, but it's kind of I like it as a safety valve. And so I almost always say it. The 3rd is refresh. You will come back refreshed. And the 4th is you will remember whatever you want, your deepest truth. Remember whatever's important to you. You will return. You can return to this place anytime you want. You will remove anything you don't want. You will come back refreshed, and you will remember what you want from it, your deepest truth or your truth. Yeah. So I'm going to say that again in a few minutes, but I wanted to just say that now and have that for you. And again, I like to use it. It's kind of a nice all-purpose ending of a trance or the processes we do. Another thing about when we go into trance in a few minutes here is your voice. Your voice. And we describe some of the characteristics or attributes of having a good hypnotic voice. In your appendix, you have a manual with section 1, 2, and 3. You have section 2 for the manifestation course. And then there is an appendix in a separate section called an appendix. And that is B3, B section 3, which is where there's a progressive relaxation we're going into too. So the hypnotic voice, a couple things, tend to soften your voice for relaxation, because the idea is it's relaxing, right? And slowing probably your voice too, speaking slower, maybe deeper, kind of a lulling rhythm, becoming more and more relaxed. And you can distort phrases. And when you let go of your body even more, and you can interrupt it, you will feel even more relaxed and relaxed. It's wonderful, isn't it? So those are some things you can do to repeat: soft tone, maybe deeper, lulling rhythm. You can distort key phrases. That's sort of optional, but it is very hypnotic. Interject silent pauses. And depending on the shifts, if you're doing hypnosis, depending on the person and the situation, is how deep you want to go. We often, as you know, go in a very light trance here. But if someone maybe wants to shift like a smoking habit, a weight thing, and you're going to give some hypnotic suggestions at the end of it, like we covered in the previous class, you may want a person to be in a very deep state. And they might be kind of like, if you're looking at kind of like knocked out, the limp kind of breathing. I've seen people, it's almost like they're, knocked out, or they're in a coma or something. They're just, in a stupor. But they're in a very deep state and they're hearing everything and every sound you make. And of course, you can do hypnosis with it, with so many things, addictions and changes of belief, many things like we do in the class. So it's very all purpose and combines. Hypnosis tends to take a longer period of time than what we often do. Although when you go to the Soul's Garden, that could be longer or shorter, right? So some of the EFT and some of the things we do are a little quicker just because with clients and everything, it doesn't take as much time. But you can probably get the same thing done with hypnosis, but it might take a little longer. And it's good to know the fundamentals like we're teaching today of what is hypnosis. So in essence, oh, Cynthia, was that a comment? Oh, okay. The essence of hypnosis, if I were kind of to bring it boiled into maybe four parts, is breathing, having the person's breath relax, the change of state, the body relax, changing breathing, and then bringing in imagery when they're relaxed, third part. And you may shift the images. Some people have scripts, and we've done things where you see yourself on a path going forward, or you're going through a gate. Tell me what you're seeing. And there are hypnosis scripts, whole scripts you can see, which are interesting just to get people's ideas. We find them kind of limiting. And when you get the essence of it, we like to sort of just put a person on the path going to the mountaintop, and then maybe saying a few things, but having the person fill in the pictures rather than telling them, now you see this, now you see that, now you do this. Just like with EFT tapping, we don't have tapping scripts where we tell people what to say as they're tapping the points. So breathing, body relaxing, imagery, and the imagery, as we'll talk about, may be visual more. It may be more auditory. It may be more sensing, feeling. It may also be tasting and smelling too. Okay, and a combination of those things. Any comments or questions again? Okay. So to do a progressive relaxation, you can do it, and then at the end of it, bring in some hypnotic suggestions. And as you might recall from a few weeks ago, those are the positive suggestions. So when a person is in a relaxed trance state, they are very receptive to those suggestions. If you say the same thing when they're in a normal state, they might say, yeah, that makes sense, but it doesn't change them. Remember, one of the ways to change is through hypnosis. Actually saying a hypnotic statement, and they may say the statement themselves, which is like what we do. What are you seeing? What are you experiencing? And we might want to work a little with the phrasing, because we want to keep it positive phrase, not that you won't be tired again. You'll have more and more energy, and progressive, getting more and more realistic. You might not want to say you'll have the energy of Superwoman. That might be a bit too much. You'll have more and more energy, have lots of energy, maybe more than you've ever had before. Keep it simple. You don't want to make very awkward long sentences. You will find the right time and place and put yourself in a good position, so you'll be able to have the kind of energy and the kind of direction and pointing that you need to be your most, now what was that? Because the unconscious mind is rather childlike. It's like it wants things very simple. You'll have more, as you wake up, You'll put yourself in the right position now. You're in it now, beautiful, and you have more and more energy as your posture gets stronger and better. That's very simple and clear and positive. And repeating it is good too. Repeating the words, whatever and keep it upbeat and your tone upbeat. You'll have more energy. You know, it doesn't sound very enthusiastic. You're going to have more and more energy. Each day I'm becoming more open to opportunities that support my purpose. You know, my manifestations are coming to me more and more easily, more readily. Any comments or questions about the post-hypnotic suggestion that review too, or so there is a sample on a model, simple progressive relaxation, it's called. By the way, this is a more passive or feminine kind of hypnosis. The stage show hypnosis, and even hypnotherapists can do more authoritarian, where, you know, they say sleep and they might pull someone toward them and they go sleep. Have you ever seen that before? You'll see it on a stage hypnosis, authoritarian hypnosis. You know, when I snap my finger, you will be asleep, bang. And the person goes like that. So the person has to be suggestible and open to that. That's the stage hypnotists find people, some are more suggestible than others. Because if people says you can't hypnotize me, they're right, because hypnosis is based on becoming relaxed. You know, I'm have my arm folded and then say, no, I'm going to show you that I'm whatever you say. No, doesn't do it. You know, of course, I'm that person isn't going to work. Most people are not that way. And that sort of holds with muscle testing too. People who are sort of have a mental thing against it can be challenging. We'll talk about that in a later class. So to do the relaxation, which I'm going to do a variation of the one on B3, and then just do a suggestion afterwards. Yes, Cynthia.
Yes. Quick question.
Yes.
Like doing a Reiki session on a person, is that somewhat of a form of hypnosis as well?
I would say Reiki puts people into a hypnotic trance generally, like a lot of body work, because they're very, very relaxed.
Right.
And the left
and the
brain
reason why
defenses are gone. Go ahead.
Right. The reason why I brought it up, because I was doing it before I knew what it was, and
Right.
I was very good at it. And, you know, I would kind of prepare the person what would happen prior to, and they would swear to me that I couldn't put them under. And within within a minute, they were gone. You know?
There you
So,
go. Yeah,
okay,
some people are more suggestible than they realize, and you probably were doing a very good job of it. It sounds like good.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Okay. Well, if there are not any more questions, I'm going to have a rough reading of the progressive relaxation, put someone into a trance. We may all go into trance. We used to teach this class way back when. One of the ways we would rent spaces like in chiropractor's office for a weekend, you know. So we'd have it at 1 weekend a month. So we would have these long hypnotherapy, and people would be so tranced out. It would be wild. It would be almost like you were on drugs. You were just being completely floating around and going in and out of trance for these long periods of time. It was interesting. So the progressive relaxation, which I'll just take one person through, but maybe we'll all go through it.
I'll do it.
Who said that?
I said I'll do
Cynthia.
it.
Okay, good. Cynthia. I missed it. Okay, good. That's Cynthia. And we may all want to go into this place too of relaxation. And a good starting place is, are you in a comfortable place where you can close your eyes? That's a good thing to say, just to make
Yes.
sure people are. Because don't assume that. Because I've been surprised when the kids come running in the door, and you know the dogs come in and stuff in the middle of the trance. You're at the perfect place where the shift is coming, and you know all these things happen. Anyway, so you can close your eyes whenever you're ready. It's very kind of permissive and inviting language. And I like to often help a person by having them breathe deeply. Cynthia, we can all have these beautiful waves of relaxation as we breathe in, beautiful clear breaths, and slowly exhale, relaxing more and more. Feels wonderful to let go even more because there's a beautiful wave of relaxation. And it's coming down that way from the top of your head, just drifting down, going down more. And I'll count you down. So with every number, you will become more and more relaxed. 5, getting more relaxed. 4, letting go even more. 3, that wave of relaxation going through your head, down your shoulders. 2, through your arms, your midsection. And 1, all that relaxation goes through your whole body, through your legs, your feet, breathing beautiful, calm, peaceful breaths. It feels wonderful, and you can relax even more, even letting go more. And how are you feeling now, Cynthia?
Just really calm and peaceful.
And from this calm and peaceful place, there may be something, maybe there's something that you want to manifest that comes to mind. In this calm and peaceful place. Could be something small, any little thing that you might want to create in your reality. Are you beginning to sense or see what it is?
Yes.
Can you share that with us?
Sugar cravings.
Sugar cravings, you mean letting go of sugar cravings?
Yes.
Okay. So you're letting go. And instead of that, you're feeling what you'd like to feel.
Just satisfied with just eating regular food.
Okay.
And
So
not
you're
eating.
feeling more and more satisfied. You feel satisfied.
Mhm.
So
Not needing something to feed my dopamine system to
okay.
calm me down.
So just sense that feeling of being satisfied. When you feel very satisfied after you eat and very calm and relaxed, where you can drink some water if you want, but you just feel very relaxed. Can you sense that now? Feeling more and more relaxed, more and more satisfied.
Yes.
What's that like for you?
I just, I'm just getting more and more relaxed.
Mm-hmm. And you're
Now,
feeling
should I be visualizing like
just
after I
you
eat?
can do whatever we're just going to let it go where you want to take it. Just how do you feel relaxed? How do you perceive it? Are you feeling it? Are you seeing it? What are you noticing?
I just feel, internally, just
Mm-hmm.
really relaxed,
Good.
almost like floating a little bit.
So you're feeling floating. So breathe into that floating, relaxed, satisfied feeling, right? So know that after you eat, you can feel that floating, breathing, relaxed feeling. Breathing into that. Okay. Very good. Anything else you want to share or that you're noticing, Cynthia? It's fine if
Feels
you're
like, I don't know if it's because I was drinking water before, or is it, with this, that like mucus and stuff wants to come up.
what wants to come up?
Mucus.
Oh, okay. So you're clearing yourself. So okay, you're getting clear. Your throat's clearing. Your system's clearing. You're breathing into that. Okay. So you're able to feel clear and clear yourself out after you eat and feel satisfied. That's beautiful. That's natural and healthy for you. So I will count you back up, knowing that you can return to this experience whenever you want. You can remove anything you don't want, and you'll come back refreshed, remembering the key points, the key insights for you. 1, ready to come back. 2, knowing that you can remember whatever you want from this. 3, you will remove anything you don't want. 4, knowing you can return to this beautiful state whenever you choose. 5, opening your eyes back in the room, knowing that you can have that sweet, that wonderful contentment and clearing whenever you choose. And also, what I forgot to mention is when you count them back with the 4 R's, return, remove, refresh, remember, it's good to quicken your pace and maybe even be a little louder. Because if you say, how do you feel now? Are you back yet, Cynthia? Are you, that doesn't, what's wrong with that picture?
Right,
Cynthia, go ahead.
right towards the end, I started seeing colors.
Oh, wow.
Learned to, and I was seeing purple. So what I've learned is that when I start seeing the colors,
Yes.
it's like I'm in alpha,
I wonder
wavelength at that time. So I'm like in a sublime, state at that point. When I start seeing
subliminal.
colors.
So I'm wondering if that purple color you could connect, if that might be helpful to connect it to feeling satisfied and content after eating.
I'll use it after eating, and then
let me know how that goes. Yeah, that might be a good combination. So that's why I like to work with what the person's doing instead of saying, you will see this image or this color or this statement. And she didn't have words, so I was putting some words in to see if they resonated. If a person doesn't have words about feeling content, feeling satisfied after you eat, drinking
I just
some
felt
water.
like energy was like flowing through me, especially in my torso area.
Yeah. So it sometimes makes it a shift, a deep, profound, sustainable change. Sometimes it's going to take repetition, depending on what we're talking about, right? Addictions and difficult habits. So if you keep doing it and keep practicing it, so the next time after you eat, you have a reminder that I'm going to, right after I eat, start this little mini visualization hypnosis or post-hypnotic suggestions.
Got it.
So it becomes a habit. Comments or questions on that?
I have a question.
Yes.
You asked her after she got all the way down, was there something she wanted to, what did you ask her? How did you get
but I want to go back. Basically, it would have been better, as I was thinking about it in retrospect, to have actually asked her beforehand, just to have that coming in. Like she told me what it was, which is about, sweet cravings. So I would say if you're working with someone, you'd be working with them because of sweet cravings, or
right.
You'd already know that, so this is more of a demo, but that would be the proper order of things.
I see. Okay.
But I'm glad you asked that. Thank you for asking that.
Because, I almost told you 2 things, because going into it, I already knew it was 2 things that I wanted to talk about. And I just chose that one as opposed to the other one. And I started to say both of them, but.
Yeah. Right. So one other thing I want to mention, and Jane will practice with you. Well, you can play around with the hypnotherapy on Thursday in the lab. But something I want to mention is the different inner language, the modalities, and it's in your manual, section 8, page 10 and 11, where people have stronger modalities, the inner senses, the inner seeing. And look, for Cynthia, it seemed pretty clear that her was inner sensing. So it's called kinesthetic body. And there's auditory people who have stronger auditory senses. So that's their go-to sense. We have them all. Some people have all a combination at once called synesthesia. And there's also one that is kind of a knowingness, your intuitive knowingness, where something's just there and you know it. You don't know how you know it, but you know it. So people who are visual, and this is important to know first for yourself and second for the people you're working with. Because if I keep saying to Cynthia, what are you seeing? And she's feeling things, that might break rapport. Tell me more about what you're feeling. If there was a picture on it, an image, what would it be? Often people can sense colors easily. So people who are visuals tend to quickly access information, maybe speak quicker too. Those are signs. They often use visual words. I'm seeing it. I see what you mean. It's showing up for me. I'm getting a good picture of it. And there's a bunch of words for visual, auditory, and kinesthetic modalities on section 811. There are a whole bunch of them. So if you're a more auditory person, some people are podcasters are very good at that because they're very auditory. Visuals tend to look up, their eyes look up too when they're visualizing. We tend to do that. Auditory eyes often go back and forth, but auditory, the voices, visuals may have shallow breathing and higher voices. Auditory, more measured, medium voices, more melodious voices often. And they have a lot of internal dialogue, a lot of mind chatter, perhaps. They may say words like, I hear you, I'm hearing you. I'm really tuning into it. I hear what you're saying. It rings a bell. Kinesthetics, like Cynthia and others, many people tend to speak a little lower and slower, breathe more, and they're slower. They may be a little more casual too. So if you're talking with someone who is a kinesthetic, you may need to slow down to get rapport with them, especially at first. So that's good to know. And words for kinesthetic are, here's how it moves me. Here's how I'm getting a handle on it. I'm really getting a sense of it. So there are a lot of kinesthetic words. It's really grabbing me. Are there any just general questions of that before we have a little brief experience here with this?
Now, you pointed out that I fit more the mode of kinesthetic. Now,
You seem to, yeah.
When people are talking to me, sometimes I may not be looking at them.
Yes.
Especially if it's some new information.
Yes.
But I'm visualizing what they're saying as they're talking to me.
You're seeing the pictures?
Yeah, I'm seeing what they're talking about. I'm visualizing it.
So you have a strong visual modality too.
Right. Yeah. So yes,
Okay.
I'm listening to them, but I'm strongly picturing what they're saying.
You're seeing it as a like a movie screen picture?
Almost, yes.
Okay, so you have a strong visual there.
And when I don't do that, I don't really grasp it really quickly. And years ago, I used to tell people, well, I'm not seeing what you're talking about, so repeat it again. And, once I get it, then I can revert it back to them. And I know I have it. And that's when I can teach it to others as well. But, when I started telling people, I need to see it, and people thought I was crazy.
Yeah, well, that would be a classic visual. I need to see it. Jane is very visual.
Okay.
She needs to see things when I explain things to her. If I'm just explaining things to show it to me, she'd still say.
So it's not necessarily you have to actually show it to me, but if you can explain it in a way that I can see it in my mind, then I have it,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and I can grasp it really
Well,
quickly.
yeah. Well, you have a feeling nature too, because sometimes you feel something and then you see it.
Both, yes.
So there may be, and we're about to do an exercise that's
Mhm.
will help you clarify exactly what I'm saying, because it depends on the situation too. Certain
Mhm.
situations might evoke one modality more than the other, and also just your preference.
Right. And then just based on who I am, as they're talking with me, I'm picking up, cues from them. Is this real or not? Or should I believe them or not? Or is it something else that they're not telling me? You know?
Hmm.
So all of those things are
Right.
going on when people talk to me.
Right.
And, when I'm talking in a conversation, if it's, like building up factual information, we have to exchange information, they sometimes, I guess, if it's a visual person, they want me to talk really quickly. But I'm seeing, I'm feeling, I'm thinking, I'm doing all of these things when I'm communicating.
Sure. Yeah,
And
a
it
lot's
just
going on.
it comes out that, I might be doing things a little slow, but I'm grasping more
A
than
lot's going
most
on there.
people.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, you're processing a lot of things. Well,
Yes.
let's do these exercises because they'll somewhat explain to you what we're talking about. And it's
Yeah.
just a very simple exercise where I'm just going to have you close your eyes. And by the way, for wording on section 811 on your manual, you want to often speak neutrally to people instead of saying, what are you picturing? What are you hearing? Or
Hmm.
what are you sensing? And the words we have are things like, what are you experiencing?
Hmm.
You can say, what are you thinking? Sometimes that might even work. What are you aware of? What's it like for you? See, that's very neutral. So that lets people come into their own natural way of doing it. Because if you say, what are you picturing? And they don't picture things easily, then they're, I'm not getting anything, but they might be having these very strong feelings or, hearing some sounds or getting messages. So those are neutral. So I'm going to ask you what you're experiencing or what you're aware of or what's it like for you when we do this exercise, two quick exercises here now. So you can relax and close your eyes. And I'd like you to imagine going to a florist shop, and notice what you're experiencing at this florist shop.
I just feel a
Well,
connection.
this is for everyone, Cynthia.
Okay.
So this is a group exercise. Sorry, I didn't make it clear. Group exercise. So everyone just notice they're at the florist shop. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes, you just come back. And would some people like to share just what was the florist shop like in their mind in that little experience?
Plethora of smells, of aromas and fragrances.
Yeah, olfactory. And that the florist shop is sort of unusual in that regard. Yeah, yeah, yes, Pamela? Pamela?
Excuse me. I just saw beautiful flowers everywhere and I could smell them as well.
So you got a visual there. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, did anyone hear any sounds? Yeah, it's something that sort of has a visual effect. So let's do one more round here and start to notice how you're perceiving things. So if you close your eyes again, everyone, and this time you're at a department store or a mall department store. Notice what it's like, what you're experiencing at that department store. And if you go up to the counter to purchase an item. You found an item at the store and you pay for it at the cash register. The cashier, takes your funds. And then you leave the department store. Okay, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And notice we were talking about your modalities. Did anyone, I'm just curious, did anyone hear something? Were there a lot of noticeable, yes, sounds?
Yes.
Or were there words or sounds or what?
Too much chatter.
A lot of chatter. Which one was the first for you, Marcia and Pamela? Was it sounds or something else?
Sounds for me.
Yes.
Sounds.
Yeah.
Sounds for me first.
Okay. So that's very
Noise.
different than the florist. So that means there's a strong auditory there, though. How many people had a visual was first? Or Ina, you saw things? Okay.
Yeah. It was more of just like looking out and seeing all the different colors and the racks and the different like layers of different things. It was seeing all of that and noticing. But I also heard, it wasn't really, it was just more like low noise, just like people about, just that noise, peoply noise. Yeah.
Okay. And other people, I guess there must be sensing. Terry?
Yeah, my first response was a reluctance, which I think lets me know that I am bombarded when I go into an environment like that.
Oh, you felt, so there was that sensing. Now, Terry has that deep, slow speaking too. We talked about kinesthetic. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. And Bonita?
I felt like all the people's energies around. I didn't see them, but I felt them.
Mm-hmm. So the feeling.
Which is interesting for me because I don't really go there first. So
yeah, it was different. It may be different situations and different. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. So all of that gives you kind of a sense of what's going on. There's a lot going on in our inner world that we're often unaware of. But when we heighten our senses, we can be much more aware of our lives and live it more fully and direct it. Very good. Before we do one last thing, any comments or questions on hypnosis? We covered the what is hypnosis, how to do it, how you can program your own mind, reprogram yourself with it, the 4 R's, the post-hypnotic suggestions afterwards, which we covered previously. And using those different modalities, getting a sense of how you perceive things. Because that's called metacognition, by the way, when you start to observe how you're observing, which is an amazing thing that we can do. Like, wow, I'm seeing myself seeing those things, or I'm aware of myself hearing messages.
What did you call that? What was the term?
Meta, M-E-T-A, metacognition.
Metacognition. Okay.
Yeah, it's a term out there in psychology.
I often see myself outside of myself, especially in situations like recently I just went and leased a car. I went to the dealership on my own. It's something that I would not have ever considered doing even 5 years ago. I wouldn't have been confident enough to do it. It just wouldn't have been in my thought process. Did the whole thing by myself. But while I'm sitting there and doing it, I had like this whole moment of like existentialism where I was like outside of myself, and like experiencing it and like really aware of like how far I had come. And I often like in a moment that's important, I guess, will have those types of awareness where I'm seeing it from a different point of view, I guess.
That's great. Yeah, that's great that you're having that. That's good spiritual development on your part. Good job. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Anyone else have a comment or sharing before we do a little soul coaching? Marcia, this is your cue. I didn't bring my soul coaching. I'm traveling in Napa, California. So Marcia's going to draw a card for us. So the theme is to how to, let's see, what is the focus today? Does someone have the focus? I can come up with one, but I'll open it to you if you have one. So how to open your mind, how to become more aware of your unconscious mind. Does that sound like it?
That's a good one.
Okay, a soul coaching card to help us how to become more aware of our unconscious mind so we can direct our destiny, fulfill our purpose. So Marcia, you're going to choose a card from the soul coaching deck.
Yes. Yes.
For us all.
Okay.
She's got it.
Oh,
Communication.
Wow.
it's beautiful.
What is it?
Communication.
It's a little girl
Communication.
speaking to a tiger.
Yeah, little girl.
Communication.
Yeah.
A little girl talking to a tiger. Yeah, why don't you read that?
Okay. The affirmation is, I communicate from my heart, and love surrounds and protects me. Communicate from your heart and speak your truth without hesitation. Be willing to stand before the crowd and share from your center. This isn't the time to be shy and hesitant, but to heal through communication. You're a natural teacher.
Well, it strikes me as we learn about hypnosis together here, we're deprogramming ourselves collectively so we can speak from our heart. Because otherwise, the programming, we're just saying stuff. You know, a lot of people, they just say stuff that other people told them to say. And we're all guilty of that at times. But that's interesting. Where did you get that from? Well, you have to work hard and save, why? Well, yeah, that's what whatever we've been told, you have to be a success, my parents, you have to be a success. Sounds like an ultimatum, like a scary thing. So anyone else want to share what they were picking up on the communication card? Thanks for drawing that, Marcia. Ariel.
Yeah, I was just seeing like automatic writing. Like just
Oh, yeah.
put in there and just writing.
Yeah, which would tap you into your unconscious too and bypass your left brain, your conscious mind. Right? Good. Like that. Well, I guess we are at the close of today. You all did really well, and we've made a lot of progress in this sort of midway point for the course. We've covered a lot of territory, and we're now going to start to go into some deeper areas as we go further. There will be a lab on Thursday and then a week break. Remember, every 3 weeks, then a week off. So there's a week off, but then we'll be going into age regression, inner child, past lives, and things like that, which is very wonderful time. Sometimes go into some very deep areas too. So everyone, good job, everyone. I will stick around after hours in case